Dc16 Ahmed the Prisoner. Soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. Ahmed the Prisoner. Ahmed was born to a poor family and grew up between beggars, sick people and criminals in the suburbs of the old city of King Masir. The houses in Ahmed's neighborhood were old. The narrow streets were dirty, and because of such streets, neither the breeze nor the sun ever reached these poor people. Garbage was laying around. Everybody threw their dirt outside and nobody cleaned up. And it was not strange that many diseases and illnesses conquered the weak and the children. Ahmed was a young street fighter, and after his mother had died and his father disappeared, he had become a thief. He did not know better. He had never done anything else. This was his job, his living. One day, however, he was caught by the guards and they brought him to their king. King Masir had heard about this young criminal, felt pity for the young boy and sent Ahmed to an orphanage. Ahmed disliked this place intensely, for he was often punished without any reason and couldn't get along with anybody. After several attempts, he managed to escape and went back to the suburb where he was born. This was his home, where he was familiar with and with everybody and everything. The rest of the world was unknown to him and not of his interest at all. Careless as he was caught again. But this time the king was less gentle. Ahmed was put in jail, had to do dirty jobs and cleaning work, and the beatings of the guards motivated him. After a year, King Masir decided to set Ahmed free, but it didn't take a week and he was standing in front of the king again. The king was thinking that he might have done wrong by putting the boy in such an evil prison. The boy had never had only bad experiences in his whole life already. On the other hand, he could not set Ahmed free because he would commit another crime. Ahmed, said the king, I will send you to a better prison. You will get better treatment, and you will be taught to read and write. Maybe this will help you. Some years later, Ahmed managed to escape again and went back to the suburbs, but so much has changed. New houses had been built and there was nobody left he knew anymore. He was not familiar with the new surroundings and he really felt lost and made a plan so that the guards of the king would catch him again. The prison had now become his home. There he was fed regularly and he had a roof over his head. After this, King Masir decided to put Ahmed in jail for the rest of his life. 30 years passed, and King Masir was at times still thinking about Ahmed the criminal, because many good reports had come to his ear about him. Ahmed had become a friend to everybody. He did administration work and helped the sick prisoners. So the king sent for Ahmed, and as Ahmed was standing in front of him, he recognized that the man had changed. Tranquility surrounded him. Peace and love had entered his warm, crystal-bright eyes. You have changed, Ahmed, said the king, and as a reward, I will set you free. When you do this, I commit a crime, just to get back into prison. Prison is my home. Please let me stay, answered Ahmed. At first the king did not know what to do, but then said, Okay, Ahmed, you are allowed to stay in prison, but you will be transferred to the palace prison. This is the cleanest prison and you will be offered more comfort. Again some years passed, and the king himself visited Ahmed. They had a talk together, but Ahmed refused for the second time to leave the prison. From this moment on, Ahmed received the best food, furniture in his cell, and after each visit from the king, he received more and more. Years passed again, and one day a new guard was placed in the palace prison. Russia was the tallest, skinniest guard and had served the king for many years. He was a good man, and the king gave him this position to serve out his last years. After a little while, Russia and Ahmed, whose hairs and beards had become grey, became close friends. There Russia told Ahmed about a country he had visited, a place with rich mountains, sloping hills, and lush valleys with rivers and lakes. This place has an abundance of food, and there are no cities with walls, and there are no prisons. Everybody lives in harmony. And Ahmed responded, Russia, this cannot be true, because the city of King Masir and the lands around is the only thing that exists. Beyond the forbidden forest surrounded our land, there is nothing. There is only the forest, and nobody going there ever returned. Correct, because anybody who went into the forest and found the way through it must have found the land of harmony and didn't have the need to come back. Why did you come back then? I felt that I needed to fulfill my obligations and commitments because this didn't give me any peace, and I also wanted to share this discovery with others. However, nobody believed me, and I even was called the mad prison guard. I'm curious how you found out all about this. I found out from a man who had gone before me and who had come back for the same reason I did. He left from here a while ago after he had fulfilled his duties and obligations. And Ahmed responded, but this is impossible. The only place where people live is here in the city and the land around the city of King Masir. This world is rotten. The streets are dangerous and prisons are the only good places. That's what you think, Ahmed, answered Russia. You never saw anything else other than your suburb and prisons. But there is far more. But why did King Masir or anybody else ever told me about this land? Questioned Ahmed. Russia said, maybe he did not meet the special man who guided me to this special land. And just for you to know, the king didn't even believe me either. For the king is like you, Ahmed. He only knows about the city, and he spends his whole life trying to improve and defend it. The city is his prison, and his thoughts are confined within these city walls, just like you are, and your thoughts are confined to these four walls. I once had the same problem, but this guide opened my eyes. He did guide me through the forbidden forest, and he told me after I have fulfilled my duty as a guard, in the prison, to come and join him in that paradise land. Every time they had a talk about this subject, Ahmed became more curious. His belief was growing as he listened to the sweet stories of Russia. One day, he asked Russia, please Russia, share with me how to get through the forbidden forest and to find the land of harmony. And Russia answered, for sure, Ahmed. To get through the forbidden forest, you first have to get used to the darkness, because dark it is. Secondly, you have to learn to listen to the nature sound around you. And the more in tune and familiar you get with all the sounds, you have to listen very carefully, because you have to hear the sound of the land of harmony. That sound is more beautiful than all the sounds inside the forest. And after you have gotten used to the darkness, you will start seeing a vague light, which will give you direction, and together with the sound you will manage to get through the forest and find the land of harmony. The biggest secret I have not told you yet, because once following that light and sound, my guide will show up and assist to make the journey even more easy and pleasant. In the meantime, Ahmed, you can practice to sit in silence in the darkness of your prison cell, and when it's not dark enough, just close your eyes. You can also learn to sharpen your hearing and detecting all the sounds around you, including the movement of the building, or closing your ears off with your fingers and hearing the inner sounds. Ahmed went to work at it and sat for many hours daily in silence. 2 years precise later, Ahmed asked for an audience with the king and asked if he was free to leave the prison with Russia the guard. The king could not believe his ears and was happy with Ahmed's decision. "Are you sure you want to leave with Russia? He is a good man, but he is a dreamer. I am not sure about all his stories and the land of harmony, and I am afraid that the both of you will die in the forbidden forest." "Thank you, king, for your concern, but I have decided to leave my prison home. I definitely do not want to return to the city, and even when death would wait for me in the forest, I am not afraid, for all of us have to die one day anyway." The king knew he couldn't convince Ahmed to change his mind, because that had never worked before anyway, but felt comfort with the thoughts that Ahmed finally left the prison. That very day, together, Russia and Ahmed went outside the city walls, and King Masir stood on the city wall and watched the two men leaving with tears in his eyes. Ahmed looked back for the last time and waved farewell to the king. After some time being in the forbidden forest and practicing the sound and light guidance, Ahmed felt the hand of Russia, who helped him to go through the road and the path to find the land of harmony. King Masir never saw one of the two men again, and he had to live with the question in his mind if they had died or if they had found the land of harmony, and probably he would never find out. What the story could bring us. Life can be compared with a prison, for as long as the mind is not guided by the life force and creator itself, we still live in a prison, and on a daily basis we are trying to improve our situation in this prison by making more comforts, but nevertheless, we are still in the prison.